Welcome to the Bold Moves podcast. We are so glad that you have joined us for episode number 8. We're really taking off here and having a great time. We're getting close to double digits. It's really happening. We're still doing it, guys. We are still doing it. Today, we're talking about something that actually gets pretty heavy pretty fast. We're talking about how to navigate life through the broken dreams. When life doesn't go the way that you expect it. When you lose the job, when you go through difficult moments in life where the health starts to go and you're just dealing with the heavy moments of life. How do you navigate that? How do you, instead of just giving into the fear and the chaos of life, how do you make that bold move and trust that God is going to be with you in that difficult time, in the broken dream, and help you get your way through it? Yeah. These are actually really heavy conversations, and we like to have fun and keep it light. And yet, man, there's moments when you just have to really talk about, how do I navigate these difficult moments in life? And when we think about that today, I just want to encourage you, whoever's watching, wherever you're at, however this strikes you, I just want you to know that you can trust that God is with you in your broken dream and that He is able to redeem that. That's what I love about God, is He is always redeeming the broken dreams. And like all throughout the Bible, you see people who had to endure the broken dreams. Like that's life. God redeems that and He uses that. And life is not always perfect. You guys, I've been there. I'm pretty sure you guys have been there. Yeah. The marriage has the good days and the bad days, mostly because I can be an idiot husband sometimes. Parenting, the kids have good days and bad days, except for Kristen. Your kids are always perfect, right?
Yeah.
From what I've seen,
something like that.
I'm a really good parent.
There it is. You're crushing it. You're doing it. And like you even go through the seasons of life where you lose the job, everything. I mean, that's happened to me. Like your world gets turned upside down. How do you navigate those struggles? And when you're working through the broken dream, it's heavy because it's personal. It's me. It's not somebody else. This is happening to me. And it's hard to understand that sometimes. That doesn't happen to me. That happens to somebody else. And when it hits, navigating that, it matters. It's painful. It's painful. I was recently reminded of a funny video. Corey, I think you saw this first. It's the video of this poor lady who falls and experiences, let's just call it a painful broken dream moment. If we can watch this together, this is fantastic. For some reason, they're stomping grapes outside in the middle of California somewhere. So we enter into the scene, they're stomping grapes here. And so far, so good. Everything's going well.
It's a lot of fun, a whole day.
They're having fun, obviously. Look at that. It's amazing.
Look at her.
That groan
I don't know.
She's in pain.
It's from like the bowels inside of her.
Comes from the depths of someone's soul.
No, I think she is.
She's actually hurt.
Fall off there. Oh, gosh, I hope she's okay. We're gonna have to make sure she's
I'm pretty sure she's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't
just
look like she was going to be okay. I'm assuming she was because we're laughing. It was years ago, so it's fine. I think after 5 or so years, it's okay to laugh at something like that. She was fine, I'm sure. We'll find out in the closing credits and confirm that.
Yeah.
The reality is, though, man, you can experience just life as a normal day, and you're going through life, and everything is good, and then all of a sudden, you just fell off a random table while you were stomping grapes, and you smashed your face on the ground. Like,
been there.
You don't know when it's going to happen. And it can be extremely painful. And walking through those moments is really important. As much as we hate to admit it, it's important in our growth and our relationship with God.
Well, so like we would be doing a disservice to the listeners of our podcast, to the people of Crossroads as our church.
Yep.
If we tried to make them think that everything is like, once you say yes to Jesus,
this will never happen.
Yeah, that everything is up and to the right from that point. That's just simply not reality.
Yep.
And we do live in a world that's honestly, people tend not to want to show the difficulty that's going on behind the scenes. I mean, we just joked, Kristen, about your kids and everybody's always perfect. It can look that way pretty easily.
We can make it look that way.
My kids look perfect because...
No, I was just trying to be nice.
Okay, thanks.
My word. But we do. In our social media culture, everybody wants to put their best foot forward.
Look at how amazing we look. Look how amazing our life is. Yeah.
And for sure. And that's just simply not reality.
Not true.
Yes.
That's like the 1% of a day that you get to see, if even 1%. And the rest of it could be just absolute horrible. I mean, truly.
Total chaos, total pandemonium.
But that's what we choose to show people. And we weren't planning on talking about it, but our Crossroads Recovery Ministry is perfect for that reason.
Yeah,
It
Because
absolutely
honestly,
is.
those are the people at Crossroads who just lay it all out there and
They're
say,
being
this is who
real.
I am.
Yes, they're being real. And that's how you get victory. That's how you overcome the difficult moments in life.
Yeah.
And so when you're dealing with the broken dream, when you're walking through that difficult and painful moment in your life, God redeems that moment. These broken dreams, they're personal, they're painful, but they're purposeful.
Sure.
And I think that the thing that we have to be willing to grapple with and wrap our minds around is that when I'm experiencing a broken dream, when I'm enduring a difficult moment in life, I stumbled across this principle years ago, and it's stuck with me. God cares about what you care about. He cares what you're going through, but he cares much more about who you are becoming while you endure that than he cares about that thing, you know? And so how I respond, how my character grows and how my faith shines in those moments is really, really important to Jesus. And that's why these moments help us grow. They strengthen our faith. And nobody wants to experience the difficult time. Nobody chooses that. And yet that's the time when we experience growth. That's when God shows up and changes things.
Yeah. Even Jesus, as he's preparing for his own death, he's praying for God to take the situation that he's in. He's praying for God to take that away from him. Yeah. Because nobody really wants to go through that.
No, it's overwhelming. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. So today we're bringing in someone special for our 5 Good Minutes. We're bringing in Jamie Clements. And she's going to share a story with us of how she's navigated a broken dream. And it's a really powerful moment. So let's give it up. Let's give a warm welcome to Jamie as she joins us for 5 Good Minutes today. All right, we have Jamie Clements in studio for 5 Good Minutes.
Yes.
We have successfully replaced Corey with you, Jamie. So welcome to the
upgrade.
table. It's an upgrade.
I'd say.
No question. Jamie, your role here is one of the most critical and probably enviable roles here at Crossroads by working really directly with me all the time. Would you say that's probably a place you've arrived in life? You're like, yes, I finally made it.
You know, it's what I've always dreamed of doing. It's just the best.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Thank you for saying that for everybody who's watching. I appreciate that very much.
Did he work on that? Work on that with you in training? Like, this is your response when asked?
Nope, unscripted. Just kind of knowingly expected, right?
No comment.
There it is. That's smart. So, Jamie, in all seriousness, it's been amazing over the last few years just seeing you guys engage at Crossroads and just grow in your faith. And part of your journey has been navigating a really difficult moment. I mean, we're talking about broken dreams. And I think that the story that you and Justin have been on, this journey that you've been on together, while it's been really painful, has also been a journey that has been helpful to so many people. And I think it's helped you guys grow. And so rather than me talk more about that, can you just share with us a little bit about your journey, what you guys had to navigate through together?
Yeah. So Justin and we got married almost 15 years ago. So a few years after we were married, it was 2012, we were pregnant with our first child. Super excited. We were living in Indianapolis at the time. So my whole family came down for the ultrasound to find out if we were going to have a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
So we, they say it's a girl. We're all excited and stuff. They bring the doctors in, which I didn't think that was normal.
Right.
And they let us know that there was something wrong with her heart. Not a big deal. Try not to freak out.
Yep.
And they said she might have Down syndrome. And so I was like, okay. They asked if we wanted to abort. And we already talked about this prior.
Right.
It's like, we would never do anything like that.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, I mean, that's a curveball. Let's just deal with it. We're just going to trust whatever God has for us. So we moved back to Elkhart, came back to the family. And the day that I had her did not go as planned.
Yeah.
She came a few weeks early. And her name was Remy. So we had her, and I had to be put under because it was not going to plan.
Yeah.
They said her head was a little large, which was weird because I didn't know too much about Down syndrome at that time. I was only 21.
Right.
So we had her. And as soon as I woke up, I see all the doctors, all the nurses. There's like 20 people in the room. And she was whisked away to Memorial Hospital. So I woke up the next day, and it just, day by day, it got worse. She had a rare condition called toxoplasmosis, which is fatal in infants. And I was like, this can't be happening. Like, like those things where you feel like you're in a dream.
Yeah.
You're like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my first thought was, I did everything right. Like, I exercised during my pregnancies. Like
this is what we do.
Yeah. Like
women,
I know what to do. I read up on what I'm supposed to do.
How
and I was
could
like,
this be happening?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, this is not fair.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, I'm like, okay, they say it's fatal, but like, I believe in God. Like,
She'll be fine.
Yeah. Like I'm going to pray for a miracle. My whole family, is on board and everything.
And that can happen.
Yeah. Like I believe in miracles.
Yep.
But that was not the case. We were able to take her home. She was getting better. Until one day she wasn't. We had to call 911. And she passed away that night. She was 39 days old. And my life was just like shattering.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how could God do this to me? Like I serve him. I love him. I read my Bible. I do everything that like a Christian's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe it. So, it was tough.
Jamie, let me ask you this, because it's such a heavy moment. It's every parent's worst nightmare, and you're living this out in real time. And so I think people, you just wonder when you're grappling with something like that and enduring that level of pain, how do you move forward in your relationship with God? Because here we are, fast forward years later, and you're doing well. Like, your relationship with God is great. You're a leader. You're doing all kinds of amazing things for the kingdom. But I know there's a gap there. It doesn't just happen, right?
Yeah.
There's healing that takes place. You got to go through all the stages of grief to get to that spot. Yeah. Walk us through that, because I'm sure it was ugly for a while there. How do you navigate that difficult space where you're trying to grapple with the hurt and the pain and get to a new normal? Can you talk us through that?
Yeah. So after I lost her, Justin and I decided this is not going to ruin our marriage. Like, we don't know what our future looks like, but we're not going to let it go there. So after I lost her, 6 months after that, I miscarried. And so I was coming to terms with like losing her, and like, we have to move forward and whatever that looks like. And then I had miscarried, and I'm like I lost all faith. That was definitely the darkest part of my life.
Yeah.
And Justin and I we wouldn't talk about it. Because we couldn't. Like, you pretend it's not there.
It's so difficult to navigate that.
Yeah. And I never thought I would not love God, but I hated him for a while, because I thought I was so deserving to be a mom. And I was like, what if I'm not a mom? Like, you have your identity. And it's like, my identity should not be, that I'm a mom, but it's all I wanted. So it's hard to trust him again, even though he hadn't done anything to me. Like, I didn't deserve, this or that. But I decided to trust him, and I was like, we got to keep going. And then, I ended up having Dallas and Dixie, which Dixie's birthday is the day that I lost Remy.
Which is such a powerful thing to consider. That's amazing.
That story's too long for this show.
But it's an amazing sign from God, right? Like, he's there.
Yeah.
What can you touch on the meaning, like why that's so meaningful though? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we lost Remy on March 7th, 2012. And 4 years later to the day we had Dixie. And God, like I trusted him. I said, this is hard. Like when you think life should go a certain way, and like nothing bad ever happens, it's easy to trust him.
Right.
But then the second something bad happens and you've like, your whole world is just rocked. It gets really tough really fast.
Yep.
So, I mean, but I did it. I was like, we have to choose. Like, we're going to go down this path or we're going to go down this one. And we chose to follow God.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. Like, it's not a coincidence that her birthday is the same day. So it was such a blessing. It just made that day a lot less painful.
Yeah. There's joy.
Yeah. So like I did feel like redeemed through that. And I'm not going to say it's because I trusted him or whatever, but sometimes like God wants to bless us in ways that we don't think we're not expecting. So like, because he loves us, like he wants to bless us. He wants to show us unique ways that he loves us. So
yeah. That's really powerful. And Jamie, thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that story, because I think it helps so many people to know the pain, to know the struggle, and to see that there is hope. You can get there. Do you have any nuggets of wisdom that you've learned along the way that you'd want to share with people who are going through that valley right now? Is there anything that comes to mind that you would say, I've experienced this, here's how I can encourage you this? What wisdom do you have to pass along?
Well, I mean, I really related myself to Job. Just when like he was serving the Lord and God took everything.
Yeah.
But we still have to choose to serve him. And like there's a saying that the Lord won't give you more than you can handle.
Right.
I fully do not believe in that. He most definitely will give you more than you can handle.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Like if he didn't give us more than we can handle, why would we rely on him?
Yep.
Right.
That's good.
Like we have to come to our knees and trust him in the unknowns.
Yeah.
So I just like stick with it. You might not always see the end of fruition,
Yeah.
but you just got to keep the faith and yeah.
Well, it's in those moments that you do see that principle come through loud and clear that, man, none of us want to experience those difficult times, but it's in those times that God strengthens us and develops our faith and ends up drawing us closer to him. And so I'm thankful that you and Justin walked that journey together and that you came out stronger on the other side, because God's using you guys in extraordinary ways. So thanks for leading the charge. Thanks for leading by example. And thanks for stopping by for 5 good minutes today to share that with it. It's been very meaningful. Thank you for joining. We want to thank Jamie for sharing 5 good minutes with us. Yeah. I'm so thankful for her willingness to share her story and her vulnerability.
She's so great.
It's as difficult as it is to walk through moments like that. It's so helpful in helping us navigate those difficult moments on our own. So, Corey, I don't know if you were around for that. You were dearly missed during that segment. I just want you to know. It didn't sound like it
when somebody said there was an upgrade for me not to be here anymore.
I don't think anyone ever said that,
and
Corey.
I was just like sitting over there.
Oh, that's right. He was in the room. Okay, so we said it. We said it. We said it, and we meant
Jamie's really great. Corey knows that. You're great too, though.
That's so good.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. So here's the thing. When it comes to stories like what Jamie just shared with us, I can't even pretend to relate to that at that level of pain. I've not endured something like that in my life at that level. Yeah. However, what I can say is that the moments that I have endured in life, I can say the same thing that Jamie did. I've seen God be faithful. Yeah. I have seen God show up. And as difficult as those different moments in my life were, man, I wouldn't wish the difficult moments on anyone, but God really is faithful. He shows up and he uses those moments to stretch us and grow us. I don't know if that is the same experience for you guys. It's difficult.
Yeah. So like there was a time in my life where I was like, just about to hit 30, and I just really wanted to get married.
That's a tough time.
That's fair.
Right at 30.
Any better way to say that? And I did ultimately end up getting married at age 34, I think.
Yep.
But like, none of the pieces that I wanted to fall into place were falling into place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I had like a promise from God that was going to be part of my future.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, like, it's so easy to say this on the other side, but let me tell you, like, the hurt of it was real in the moment.
Mhm.
Yep.
But on the other side of it, I can see why things didn't happen the way that they did, or things did happen the way that they did, and why certain things did not happen at all. And that I met my wife here at Crossroads as I started working. We were part of the Mishawaka campus together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most significant moments of my life, is just that stage. And I wouldn't have had that moment if I would have just like given up on things after the big heartbreak, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
that matters. Yeah, Kristen, anything resonate there with you?
Well, my broken dream moment, I that happened, and then I worked through it. At least I felt like I got to a good spot, but I still kind of felt alone, that I was like the only one that experienced this really sad, confusing time. And I would say about a year later, someone came to me and said, hey, this person is going through the exact same situation that you went through a year ago. Yeah. And I was able to connect with her, and she was in the middle of that broken moment, that broken dream.
It is so difficult.
And I was like, I was kind of like, yes, you're here, you know, but I felt terrible for her because, you know, she was in the middle of it, but we got to walk that journey together. And I felt God's restoration in my broken dream, that what I went through mattered, and it was going to help impact someone else.
That's so good. I want to wrap up this idea today, just pointing out a story in the life of Jesus. When his dear friend Lazarus is one of his best friends, he dies. And he was only like a day's journey away from where Jesus was at the time. And he'd been sick. And Mary and Martha have sent word to Jesus, come heal Lazarus. You heal everybody else. Come heal your friend. Yeah. Right. And he waits, like he deliberately waits. Lazarus dies. And when Mary and Martha come to greet him, like, it's not a good moment. It's one of those moments where they're weeping, they're questioning, they're going, Jesus, why didn't you come when we asked you? It's one of those moments where, like, I thought we were friends. Jesus, where were you? Mm-hmm. And it's one of those rare moments in the Bible where we get a sneak peek at, like, just the humanity, the human side of Jesus. The shortest verse in the Bible, it just says Jesus wept. He was deeply emotional. He deeply cared. Mm-hmm. And when they were going through their broken dream, when they were going through their difficult moment, Jesus showed up. He cared deeply about that moment, and he redeemed it.
And you know what's even crazier about that story in particular is because Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead.
Yes.
And he's Jesus. So like, he knows what he's about to do. He knows that as he arrives on the scene and Mary and Martha are like beside themselves, that he's going to go perform one of the most incredible miracles ever.
Yes.
And he still has that moment.
Yeah.
Right. He still has that moment where, in spite of all of that, all he feels is their sorrow and their sadness.
And he's right in the middle of it.
Yeah. I think that's encouraging for us, because Jesus knows how our stories end. Yeah. And for so many of us, he knows, like, just around the corner, it's going to be amazing. Just wait. It's going to be amazing.
But he's there through the process of all of it.
In the moment of the deep hurt and sorrow and suffering, just like what Jamie had. Yeah. He's there, and he feels exactly what you feel. That's incredible. I love that.
And I think something important to remember when you're walking through the broken dream, like, as uncharted as that territory feels and seems like in our mind, and our path is completely charted out by God, and we've got to be willing to trust him in those moments, and that's how we grow. And so I'm encouraged to know that when we are experiencing the broken dream, God is the God who redeems broken dreams. And man, he's going to use that for your good. And it's the most difficult times in life where I have to trust that is true, and keep putting one foot forward after another, and having faith. Yeah. So that's how he uses us. That's how he grows us. He grows us in those moments.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say too, like, I really do appreciate the story that Jamie had for us.
Oh yeah.
And Jamie wrote a book about her experience. And I want to make sure that people have a chance to check that out. And
yes, it's an amazing book. You can see it here at this link on Amazon. You can just purchase it directly from there. And she also has used that opportunity to lead others and help others through the journey. She leads a grief share group at Crossroads. Like she's leaning in to this moment in her life that was just an awful experience, and yet that God has redeemed for good. And that's what God does.
Other people.
Yes. Yeah. God can do that in our lives too. So I just encourage you, as you're making the bold moves with us together, if you're navigating a broken dream, just remember this. God cares about what you care about. Right. And as much as he cares about what you care about, remember this, he cares about who you are and who you are becoming during that moment more than anything else. So keep trusting him. You can trust him. He's faithful. You are going to make it. So keep at it. Yeah. Keep making the bold moves. And we're going to make it through this. Yeah. God is with us. We can put our trust in him. Hey, thanks for joining us. Listen, this is admittedly a little bit heavier of a podcast than normal, but I think these are meaningful moments where together we can put our trust in Jesus and keep making bold moves. Yeah, so for sure. Thanks for joining us. Let's keep making bold moves. We'll see you next time.